Dr. Parmjit Parmar.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for the opportunity to speak on the second reading of the Support for Children in Hardship Bill. Mr. Speaker, our welfare system, the way it works currently, is one of the best in the world. And I appreciate this system because I was born in one of the many countries that doesn't have this kind of welfare system. Mr. Speaker, I'm really keen to see that families are doing well. I'm really keen to see that children including in low-income families, are also able to get the best possible opportunities so they can do well in their life. Mr. Speaker, among low-income families, more generally, if there's a slight increase in expense, it creates a huge financial burden on those families. And similarly, if there's a slight increase in income, that can create a huge positive difference in those families. And this bill is about creating that positive difference in low-income families. We all know, Mr. Speaker, that staying on benefit is not going to help families get out of poverty. Work is the only step that people need to get into work to get out of poverty. And that's why this national government has been actively and working to get people off benefit, assisting families on benefit to get into work, Mr. Speaker. And since this national government came in 2008, we have seen that numbers of people on all main benefits are reducing. And we are not shifting people from one category to another category like the previous Labour government, who just shifted people from the unemployment benefit to sickness benefit, Mr. Speaker. They just manipulated numbers to look good, to look like they're doing something for families on benefit. But, Mr. Speaker, the numbers we are seeing now, the numbers which are going down, are real numbers. And these people are now proudly contributing to our economy, and families in these children in these families are also feeling better because they can thrive in financially independent families, Mr. Speaker. The progress that we are making now will pay off for generations because we are breaking the cycle of welfare dependency. Mr. Speaker, income is not the only factor for poor outcomes in children, because there are several other factors too. And Mr. Speaker, but I acknowledge that income can be an important factor in outcomes for children. And that's why, Mr. Speaker, this national government in Budget 2015 has allocated $790 million to help children in low-income families. Mr. Speaker, these changes, once the bill goes through, will come into effect from 1st April 2016. And I hear opposition saying that it's not enough, but, Mr. Speaker, we need to realize the fact that this is the first time since 1972 that beneficiaries are getting a real increment. And, Mr. Speaker, this just shows that they don't have any other worthy argument, and that's why all they have to say is that this is not enough. Finally, Mr. Speaker, I want to acknowledge submitters, those who made submissions. There were 31 submissions during the select committee process, and it was a great privilege for me to be part of that select committee that considered this bill, because I know there are so many families out there eagerly looking forward for this bill to go through. It's a great bill, and I commend this bill to the House.
The question is that the motion be agreed to. Those that are of that opinion will say aye. To the contrary opinion, no. The ayes have it.
Support for Children in Hardship Bill, second reading.
This bill is set down for committee stage next sitting day. Grant Robertson.
Mr. Speaker, I notice it's fairly close